Hello, my fellow readers. It's I, Dark Symphony 777, with another fanfiction review. As always, a link to the story will be in the description below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on that bell for notifications, and leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts of the story. And finally, this is my opinion. My opinion is not indicative of everyone in the world, so please respect that. Also, make sure to read the story before continuing on with the video. It'd actually make things easier if you understand what's going on. And also, please spread the word of the channel around. I'm still trying to find a job. I need to make money. Yeah. So where was I? Yeah. Okay. Shadowchasers Ascension. This one's kind of weird. This is admittedly a weird story in the grand scheme of things. It's not as good as Torment. It's still decent. But there is a lot of problems with the story. So, let's get into the review. So, the first thing you have to understand about this story specifically, this story is heavy on the theme of Ascension. It's in the name. And honestly, we'd be here all day if I went into detail on the themes. But the bare basics, if you want to get deeper into the idea, go read the story. Again, make sure to read the story. But the main gist of the theme is the idea behind how hell operates in this universe. So basically, when someone dies and they go to hell, they become a demon. And they have to constantly climb and work their way up while also earning the trust of everyone above them, but also distrusting everyone around them at the same time. And it's kind of an instinctual thing. It's kind of how hell operates, and the fact they constantly try to ascend themselves to higher ranks, getting more and more powerful, allowing them to be the boss, and you know, stuff like that. It does get more into detail in the story. It's just, we'd really be here all day if I went into detail too. It's actually really complicated on that front. But, you know, let's just move on to the actual plot. So, the story actually takes place in Boston, which is the home of some of the best, I guess you could say, the spec ops of the Shadowchasers, like the best of the best sort of thing. With a guy named Dante, a half out the door Shadowchaser, like a kind of part-time Shadowchaser named Jeb, who also works for a newspaper, and also Ophelia, who's a Shadaikar. Her species' whole thing is they're basically attention seekers, and they basically do all these very risky stunts just to get attention, and they're kind of narcissistic about that. They just want glory. It's like, aha, I'm leaping off this building. Oh yes, that's fine. I can leap off this building. It's taller. Oh yes. Oh, that's very nice. And also, this little girl named Karen, who dreams of one day joining the Shadowchaser organization. So we have a different dynamic, and that's where kind of the story falls apart. I'm gonna be real. Shadowchasers, just like I said in the previous story, the Shadowchaser stories work best when you have a group dynamic and all the characters are kind of interacting, and you have some kind of, and they kind of feel like one big happy family. That's what happened with Shichiro, Jinx, Ember, and Gears. Not really that well, but you know, you got the hint that they're family. And then it also worked with Dugan and Natalie. Carl at least is a good character. I'm actually halfway through Shadowchaser's Conspiracy right now, and he's actually I'm kind of warming up to him as a character. It took a little bit, but fine. He just didn't really fit in the group dynamic. He actually fit more in this group, like I alluded to in that review. But here's the issue with this group specifically. Not only do they not have a good group dynamic, they're also not really good characters. They're really hollow and empty. I mean, you have, like, I appreciate the gimmick in the story of them each having separate decks. Well, not Jeb, anyway. His whole thing is he runs the legendary planets, and so it's kind of a rule out what one you're going to deal with. But Ophelia and Dante, they each have, like, multiple decks. Dante alone has, like, 7 decks. So you never know. And Ophelia has, like, a lot of Ophelia has, like, switches between 2 decks. You know, it's fine. Which is, like, Gitskis and I think North Wumpko. I can't remember the difference between the two. Excuse me. So the main bulk of the story is this guy named Jaylee Squarefoot, who is a pit demon who basically wants to ascend past the rank of pit demon, and so he's kind of... I don't know how to say this. I would say he's kind of biting off more than he can chew in the realm of wanting to ascend. He's basically getting as far as he could get, and he's like, I'm gonna make this plan and overthrow Satan. And everyone's like, yeah, fine, blah, blah, blah. And no one really could take him seriously as a villain, because everyone's like, you're really just gonna overthrow Satan? Yes! Good luck with that. And it actually kind of occurs throughout the entire story of, like, no one really taking him seriously as a villain. It's just he's still technically doing evil things, so the Shadowchasers have to stop him, and that's more or less the plot. He does grab Lorelei, 2 of the villains from Torment, and uses them here, but they're more like, they're just bit players. That's fine. It's more or less the plot. Like I said, the plot is very heavy on symbolism and thematic elements, and it would just take too long to talk about that. And I figured, you know, it would be better to just for everyone to read that for those elements. And let's get to the characters. You have Jeb, Karen, Dante, and Ophelia. Not good characters. Say what you will about Carl from Torment, at least Carl was still a well-written character. He had his whole stick with his AI in his glove. He was a nerd. He had a developed backstory. You know, you still felt he was a character. He just didn't really fit in with Dugan and Natalie. With this group, none of them work well together. I mean, you have Dante, who's the hotshot. Ophelia, who's like the goth, Raven-esque person, who's like part of Shadai Car, who basically is only really joined the organization because he's like, aha, it's my road to glory. And then you have Jeb, who's a writer. And then you have Karen, who's just a fan. Which is fine. I mean, she's just basically plucky and wants to join the group. I mean, she gets her time to shine, as typically these types of characters do. It just... they're not really developed as deeply as the Torment crew. Out of all the teams, the Torment crew is by far the best well-written. Even extending into Tournament of Shadows and so far into Conspiracy, none of them as a group can really touch Dugan and Natalie, and even Carl to a smaller extent. They can't. So far, nobody can touch those 3. Because they were given time to develop as characters. We got to see their normal lives as just normal people. They got lots of time to communicate with each other. And we also got to see them grow as people. While with this group, we don't see them grow as characters. They're not really developed. Most of Ophelia's characterization is more based around the Gishki lore for some reason. It's really weird. Like, it's just very trippy. She constantly talks about the Gishki and how they're portrayed in the dual terminal lore, and she hides Cyclone and Zilgigas from like everyone until like the very end, where she has no choice but to use them because they're powerful, despite the fact Cyclone is actually not really that good. Zilgigas, yes, because he's a big chunky boy. if you ever played Gishkis, you know how big and thick Zilgigas is. Damn, boy! Zilgigas thick bot! 3200 attack bot! But yeah, it's just there's not any substance to these characters. I mean, it kind of comes off the fact that the author wanted to write a story more based around thematics rather than a concrete story. And writing a story based on thematics is good. You know, it can work. It has worked in the past, like, say, Pride and Prejudice. I haven't ever read that story, but I know that's very heavy on thematic themes. If you want to look at a movie example, you have Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and At World's End, which is a thematic trilogy. They have different plots, but in terms of themes, they carry along all across storylines as being deconstructions of their various genres, as well as a reconstruction. They offer a witty commentary on the themes and the tropes used in those movies. It works. They work. So, but the other side of that coin is, it can't work if you don't have developed enough characters to really push those themes along. And that's really where this story kind of falls apart, in the fact that you have the themes, but you don't have the characters who kind of express those themes and how they're doing it. It's more like the characters are being mouthpieces to kind of express the themes and how they're being used. And again, that can work. It's just, it doesn't work well in this specific instance. That's why I said the story's slightly better than the original, because the thematics in this story are just more stronger than the original Shadowchasers, which relied more on the aspect of dueling. But it doesn't really hold up against Torment. Pacing issues. It's very fast-paced. It is very straight and to the point. I think that was another problem that kind of plagued the story. It was very, very straight and to the point, which makes sense. This was supposedly supposed to be the best Shadowchasers that in the organization. So being straight and to the point makes sense. It also kind of stresses the whole idea of Ascension, where they're trying to be super straight to the point and stop the Ascension from happening. And also the really straightforwardness also kind of plays with, in terms of the villain and wanting to, in essence, he's biting off more than he can chew. And there's just not much to talk about in terms of stuff. Just not a lot to talk about. Grammar error, there's still the same grammar errors, mixing up names, mixing up attack and defense, mixing up numbers once in a while. It's fine. You know, it's the same old that I've come to expect with the Shadowchasers in terms of grammar errors. It's just, although there is one specific grammar error that I have to bring up, because this specific grammar error is kind of a unique situation. So, hold on, I'll be right back. I need to actually get a visual project for this. Okay, I went to go get the card. Going back, this is a very specific situation that I have wanted to at least talk about, because this is both a grammar error and not a grammar error. So let me just... This is a Lyra-Luce recital Starling. She is a rank 1 winged beast monster. And if you actually look... let me see. Yeah. Actually look closely. Let me see if I can... Nah, it's not clearing up. Okay, let me see if I can... Can I get it? Can I get it? Can it? No, it can't focus. Damn it! But, okay. Let me explain. Across the various Yugioh series, there's been new gameplay mechanics. One of those is called the XC summon, XYZ. However, early in the story, the author actually spelled it as Exceed, E-X-C-E-E-D. These are both technically right because phonetics, or I believe it's called phonetics. Basically, what phonetics word means is it's a word that's spelled differently but sounds like a completely different word. So in essence, so to use XYZ in the anime, both in the sub and the dub, people will pronounce it as XC summon. So in essence, while EXCED is technically not the right spelling of the type of summon, he still basically used it from phonetics, because saying XYZ sounds pretty much exactly like exceed. So, people actually say, I exceed summon. So it's actually not a grammar error. And then later in the story, he actually changed it to XYZ, which is actually the correct spelling. It's just, this is like a weird situation where, he's right and both right. I thought I'd at least mention that in case you get confused by why this specific wording changes halfway through the story. Doesn't defend calling Evagishki Mind August Mind Angus. Like, that's actually pretty hilarious. And we got that out of the way. What is the verdict on this story? Honestly, I do like themes, and I like how the themes are expressed throughout the story. And despite the fact the characters are actually very weak, it's still a decent enough story. I would barely put it in recommended. I would barely recommend it. Favorite part? It would actually have to be the villain. I actually like the villain. I don't know why I gave him like Emperor Palpatine voice. Like, yeah, it's just very weird that I gave him that voice of all things. It's like, behold, ultimate power, my Time Lords. Really? You're using Time Lords? Yes, of course. Because they embrace the dark side. I don't know what I was... I don't know. I sound less like Emperor Palpatine and more like Papa Gardevoir. Gardevoir sounding like Emperor Palpatine. Anakin Skywalker. You lost. I am now forklift certified. The dark side has all the certification. I don't know where I'm going with this. But yeah, I actually like the villain. He's actually pretty hilarious in the fact that, like, despite the fact even his own henchmen are, like, telling him, he's like, yeah, you gotta... Are you sure you want to go with this? Do with this? He's like, yes, I will take over Satan, and then I will kill the god of chaos, and become God. Okay, we support you all. Yes, yes, yes. Unlimited power, yes. I don't know why I'm still doing that voice. I don't know why. I don't even know why I'm laughing at the voice. But yeah, I like the villain. He's alright. He's actually pretty entertaining for a villain because he's trying so hard to be like this super uber villain, but everyone's like, "You're gonna get yourself killed, man." No, I'm not gonna get myself killed. You're gonna get yourself killed. Unlimited power, they're gonna kill you. But nobody wants to help the god of chaos. Yeah, but they don't want him even remotely even attempted to be free. Maybe, but no one's gonna stop me. Because the gods don't care about you, man. They don't care because I care. I don't know why I'm continuing with this. Let's just finish this. I just went too far. And then right, Vivian, I went too far. So, what would I change about the story? Simply, I would add in more detailed backstories of these characters, except for Karen. Karen is just a fan who wants to become part of the group. So, she's fine as it is. Give them more background. Do what you did in Torment. Like, have them, like, wander around and do nameless stuff. Have them hang around with the team more often. Dang, doing that Palpatine voice really hurts my throat. have them do like normal stuff. Just have them talk and go not really talk about the thematic elements in this story, because that's really mostly what they talk about. Give them a group dynamic. Hell, go into Jeb. Hell, better yet, switch Jeb's legendary planet stick with vampires. Come on, you have the guy's name's Belmont. Like you have so many goddamn references across all the stories. You have a Wonderland deck. In conspiracy alone, one of the characters is BB Hood, which is was a character from Darkstalkers. You have fucking Whizpig from Diddy Kong Racing as a synchro, and you had it right near up. You had a character named Belmont, and you didn't give him vampires. Hell, you didn't give him Vampire Hunter. Like, just give him Vampire Hunter at least. It's like, ah. There's like, aha, reference complete. Otherwise, that would have been too on the nose. But then again, you got fucking Whizpig. You got damn Whizpig of all things. Oh, I don't think I'll ever get over the fact he turned Whizpig into a synchro monster. I won't get it. I won't get over that. But yeah, I would simply just explore the characters a bit more. Give them a better group dynamic. They don't really work as a group. And that's it. You can actually just keep the plot as is. You can keep Karen as is. All the bad guys, everything that happens. Just give us more to dive into their characters. Hell, keep Dugan as like the exposition guy, because in like each beginning and end of each chapter, we have like Dugan talking and giving like some slightly exposition. I actually skipped that part because I just want to get into the dueling and stuff like that. That's fine. But yeah, just really give us more to see with these characters. That's really it. So that is my review of Shadowchasers Ascension. Next one will be Tournament of Shadows. I actually will have a special video before Tournament of Shadows related to that story. I will see you next time. And this has been Dark Symphony 777, and cut.